I don't know.
Yeah,
Welcome.
he texted me on Christmas.
Okay. Well, like Merry Christmas?
Yeah, but then there was like more to it.
Really?
Yeah.
Like what?
I don't know. It wasn't like anything big. I don't know. And then like he'll like comment on my Facebook stuff sometimes.
Yeah. That's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I don't know what to say back to him.
Are you guys gonna hang out now?
I don't think so.
Yeah, because he's like best friends with your wife.
Yeah.
So it's like weird.
Yeah, just that. And I said something back, and he said something back again. And I said something back again.
Yeah.
I don't know. It wasn't like anything. All right. Oh, wish me happy birthday too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I don't even know your birthday.
Sam does.
Yeah. When's your birthday?
April 5th.
Is it on Facebook?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't ever do the happy birthday. Welcome to this year's first whole week Costa.
Oh, shit, we started?
Yeah.
You're like mid-sentence.
I know, it's great. Tonight we're drinking a high alcohol beer, which I've had plenty of times before. It's Weyerbacher Merry Monks. It's 9.3% alcohol. It's a Belgian style triple.
So all I have to say about this, because I didn't even know we were starting, was it looks so clear in the bottle. I don't know how to express this. Like if you hold it up to the light, it looks like there's nothing in the bottle.
It's kind of cloud,
but it's not clear at all in the glass.
No, it's pretty cloudy.
I don't even understand this.
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
So
that's today's podcast.
Yeah. This is our first one for the year. We're all caught up.
So we might release it later today. It might be like in real time.
Probably
not,
real
though.
time.
Later this week.
So I'm gonna complain about one thing real quick.
Yeah.
The Eagles are fucked.
Yeah.
Like that was the worst game I've ever watched.
So I was listening to WIP a little bit this week. I started listening. I used to listen all the time, and I hadn't for a while. And I started it again recently. And so one caller brought up a good point. Nick Foles won the 2 games he started and finished to completion as an Eagle. And the game that he only played a series, and I missed the beginning of the game actually, is the one they lost. So who knows if he completed that game, if he would be 3-0 currently as an Eagle starter. It's probably pretty likely considering how bad the rest of the game went. I mean, he very well could have scored a touchdown.
I don't think anybody cared about that game. Not one person on the field cared about it.
Oh, that was the other thing. Watch some of the post game stuff. You know, people brought up like, Doug Peterson couldn't have cared less about like it has been his post game press conference. Like he just didn't want to be. He just didn't care.
Right.
He never cared about that game.
So I was watching the press conference between Nick Foles and Nick Foles. I had no idea what game it was, but he's everything I had a problem with. He's like, oh, we got to watch those third down conversions. We can't really go for those 4 and longs. We have to make sure we have like second and mediums, third and shorts, and then we convert. And he's saying all this stuff. Then I'm like, yeah, that's exactly he knows exactly what he's talking about. I was like, that's pretty quick. He's talking to the press this quick.
I think he's like a pretty smart guy.
Hold on.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's we'll see what we do. We'll see what we do against Dallas, but it's pretty good game against the Raiders. I was like, wait a second, he did the same mistakes last week too, and I'm like, wait, he did. So it's the same mistakes he did 2 weeks in a row, but he won and he could have won, but they pulled him.
Amazing, one of those guys that's like a coach later on. Like he's a smart guy, maybe just doesn't have the physical talent.
Like Doug Peterson.
Yeah, like Doug Peterson, exactly. Maybe that's why Doug Peterson likes him. But I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised whatever happened. I wouldn't be surprised if they got shut out in this game. In this first playoff game, I wouldn't be surprised if Foles throws 6 touchdowns.
Right. You can never tell.
I have no idea because he's done both things. I mean, he literally holds the franchise record for touchdowns in a game.
Right. And he's one of 6.
Yeah.
And out of all of the, probably since they started it back in like the early 70s for the passer rating, he's one of 56 quarterbacks who've gotten it. It's been done 60 times.
Yeah.
And a couple times twice by a quarterback. So it's like that's how rare it is. So he holds like pretty prestigious records in the NFL.
Yeah.
but you never know what you're gonna get.
Sometimes he just sucks.
Right. He can throw for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns, or he can fumble nine handoffs like in a row.
I don't even understand what happened in that. It was the Raiders game, was the second to last one, right?
Right.
Because I was like falling asleep by that point. I just know every time I like sort of woke back up, there was a turnover. Like I'm not even clear on how many turnovers there were in that game.
A ton.
Yeah.
Um,
Did you know that listening to Holy Costa is in fact good for your love life?
is it?
Yes. And I believe that this should be the title of our podcast. That in fact, 1 in 5 Whole Wheat Costa listeners got engaged in the last week.
Really? Who?
Jackie, or one listener that's not related to us.
Yeah.
So,
A friend of mine actually
Yeah.
asked me today. He goes, "Are you gonna do anything with your podcast?" I was like, "I had 50 downloads in the month of December."
yeah. I mean, we're talking about love right now, so I mean, I think we're doing things.
Yeah.
She's like in her mid-30s. I mean, she hadn't gotten engaged until she started listening to Whole Wheat Costa.
Is it because they listen to Whole Wheat Costa together?
It's likely.
Yeah.
And I mean, she's been listening to Whole Wheat Costa for a few months now, and she's engaged. I mean, like 35 years, nothing.
All right.
Like a few months of Whole Wheat Costa, engaged.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, 20% of Whole Wheat Costa listeners get engaged within 6 months of listening to Whole Wheat Costa.
Wow,
Proven fact. It's science.
Wow.
Mark it down.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So I mean, that's a pretty high rate.
Yeah. What's that? What's that one? Causation doesn't mean correlation.
But in this case, it does.
All right, I'll take your word for it. So it's the new year. It is January 3rd, which this could be posted January 3rd or 4th, which it probably won't be.
Or 5th, who knows?
Yeah, who knows? But so I have a problem. I don't even live in Philadelphia, but you know what annoys me?
What's that?
Mummers.
Yeah. So
The mummers just for like closing down the streets, getting wasted to drink, and I mean, like, there's cool things like the Mummers string bands. Like, there's cool parts of it.
Yeah.
Like when they show up at your school and you're like, oh, Mummers, that's cool. But when you close down like a large area of Philadelphia for these jerk offs that just drink and party all day and ruin like everybody else's day, I kind of don't like them.
Yeah, so I have a lot of thoughts about this. This is going to be the show. So I actually really used to really like the Mummers because I don't know, I just did like my mom always watched them growing up. You know, in Breisburg we have a couple groups there, so like they would come back after all the stuff downtown and like play in Breisburg, and people would go out and see them like on New Year's night. Like that's one of the things I did as a kid. I thought it was really cool. I even went a few years ago. I went to like they do this like show of shows. It's like about a month. It's like in February. They like for the last time do like all their old routines and stuff. They do it down in Atlantic City. I went to that a few years ago because like I thought it was all really cool. And then I started dating a South Philly girl and actually met some of these people, and they're like subhuman. Like that's the only way to like. They're literally the worst people. I mean, so I agree. So some of the I guess where I have the problem with it now, or at least where my argument with it is that I feel like the actual Mummers, and I just saw a Facebook like time hop thing of me saying this on Facebook like about a year ago, and then people arguing with me. The actual string bands like are generally like they really play music, like they do these big routines, like some of them are pretty talented, and they probably bring tourism money into the city. But prior to the string bands, there's like just guys in costumes, which are like kind of stupid, but whatever. It's not a minor thing. But then prior to them are the fucking wenches, which are like, I guess are like the original, like how the parade started. But it's literally just like the worst shitheads in South Philly dressing up in costumes and getting fucking wasted and running down the street with umbrellas. That's all they do. The one fucking group, Froggy Car, like some people in South Philly are like real proud of them. Like literally because they're the biggest, most waste of life drunks. There's like a million of them. They get like disqualified every year from even like the wench competition, which I don't even know what the fuck it means because it's just guys running down the street drunk. I'm not sure how they judge that, who drank the most, who's the drunkest. I'm not sure what the criteria is. Supposedly 30% of it's costume. I guess the other 6% is how much you fucking drank. Other 70%.
Like, I'm all about parades, especially for New Year's. Like you want to celebrate,
Yeah.
and you want to have an early morning celebration. You have string bands, and you have people in costume going down. You know, less than 20 blocks.
Yeah.
Like that's all good and well. Like you start at 8 or 9, and you're done by 11, and then you can have like a block party somewhere or after parties, and everybody has a good time. But it lasts so long.
Yeah. Well, my point is going to make about the wench stuff. So, like, especially that Froggy Car group, like, so they have extra police that walk down the street with them. I think they should pay for those police that day. I don't think the city should pay for fucking drunk people to like need extra police protection. Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, Nutter wanted to put a stop to that.
Yeah. Well, I think, and I don't think that was unreasonable. I contributed. I feel like we even talked about this on the show before. I contributed to his like city pool campaign because the idea was if you want to use city pools, which I never have, but I still think we should have them, that you should contribute to them. Like people that don't want to use them don't pay for them. People that want to use them pay for them. So he had a fund and they financed the pools, and they wanted to do that with the mummers, and people lost their shit because it's a real corrupt city government. So. People do whatever. So, but yeah. So I kind of hate all those people now. Bigger reason I hate them, which is like totally a personal reason. So I was still married when I was dating Kelly. When it was like it was like towards the end of all that, where it was like clearly I was like moving on, but like. Kelly was like freaked out because she obviously I was still married, so she was essentially like trying to find somebody else so to not get involved in the whole mess. And she is a real homebody. I think I forgot to talk about this before. Like we really never go out anywhere. She's just like not that kind of person. And so then this one, I don't know, like shitty girl that we work with that's just like a fucking South Philly drunk. She convinced her to go out like the one Sunday night to one of like the they have all the fucking their own clubs downtown, all these groups. So she convinced her to go out like the one Sunday night, and like they hung out. She's out till like midnight or something.
The fat ugly one.
Yeah. So she was out till like midnight or whatever, and and of course like I'm pissed off because like I'm home with my wife, but like wanting to be with her at that point, and so and like and now she said so I'm like I'm freaking out or whatever, and then like so then like I was pissed off about it, and like the next weekend, like to I guess further piss me off because at this point it's like a real awkward situation, she like went back out with that girl and she stayed out like all night, like stayed out till like 4 a.m, which again she's totally not that kind of person, so like it really pissed me off. And it was at one of the group, like one of the clubhouses, like for because they're all like bars basically, and so just because of that, I hate some of the mummers, just because of my like anger from those nights. That's like totally a personal reason, like whatever. But I don't know. So I get like irrationally mad some of the time about it.
So. In your infidelity, you've learned to grow to hate a group of people that never actually did anything bad to you.
Accurate.
Yeah. All right, I just want to double check that.
Yeah. So
yeah, I just want anybody listening like I don't condone that story, but I understand what he's saying.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, not that I can justify anything I did during that time period, but I mean, you're sort of stuck in a situation you don't want to be in. You're like really obsessed with one person, that person's essentially sort of doing something to piss you off because, now you're all tangled up in this situation. I mean, it wasn't like she did anything bad. I mean, she was out with this girl and her friends, and then they like went to a diner afterwards. Like it wasn't like anything terrible happened.
They weren't shooting heroin?
Yeah. I mean, I just, and at some point her phone died, so I just didn't even know where she was, which like pissed me off way more. So, and then she like called me as soon as she got in at like 4 a.m. But
why you're laying
Yeah.
in bed next to
Well,
your
she
wife.
texted me, so it was, but yeah, so.
Oh, New Year's resolution.
Mm.
So a friend at work today, he comes up to me. He's like, "You got any New Year's resolutions?" And I was like, "I'm not gonna shoot heroin."
Yeah,
And
it's
he's
good.
like,
Done.
He's like, "Wow, all right. I hope you keep it." I'm like, "Yeah, me too." He's
Yeah.
like, "That seems like a really easy for you to do, as you've never shot heroin." I'm like,
I'm going to start and then I'm going to stop
yeah,
it.
New Year's resolution.
So I feel like I used to be judgy about the people who would post like gym memes for like New Year's, but now like I'm one of those people because I was because
Oh, it's the worst.
yeah. So now I'm like I don't know, I'm like real obsessed with it. I haven't put anything on social media, but like I will drop it in a conversation, and or on a podcast. So I went on early on New Year's Eve. I was like, I'm getting the last workout for the year, and then they're closed on New Year's, and then I went on the second when they opened back up, and there's so many fucking people there, and it like pissed me off. And like I couldn't do my normal routine because there were people there, and I don't know. It was weird too. There was a lot of like young people there. I think if you're over, I think 13 is like the age limit. So there was like a handful of like teenagers there, and what was weird too, there were some like new like really buff guys. So I don't, like they were doing something before. Like why did they cut? Like clearly they were going to some gym prior.
Why'd you go to Planet Fitness?
Yeah, exactly. Why did this have to switch gyms today?
My gym is real weird. So I didn't go. I gained like 10 pounds over break. Like since October, like of fat. But because I eat like way more than I should, but I also work out a ton, so I feel like way stronger. So anyway, I go once or twice over my little break, and then I went yesterday. I was supposed to go today, but haircut. Maybe I go tonight. But anyway, so I go there. There was one guy, hilarious. He had the weights. He was hanging his arms, and he was shaking his arms like that. And
doing the shake, dude.
no, just shaking his arms.
Doing the
like,
shake weight.
Yeah, like 10-pound weights.
Yeah.
He absolutely nothing.
Getting loose.
I was doing I do a couple different circuits with kettlebells and everything. And so I would look over, and there's a lady there. She would do something that's almost useless. She could have stayed at home and done.
Yeah.
And would text for about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like if you go to the gym and you're not like catching air and your heart's not pumping, you're not really working out.
Exactly.
You're just movement.
You can text during that time.
What?
You can text during that time when you're like in the rest period. But we need
There's
to
no-
we actually need to do enough to get a rest period.
Yeah, I mean like a rest period like 15, 30 seconds maybe. Like
See, I've read different things, and like I'm actually starting to get into like looking up this
well,
stuff. now.
I do circuits.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
like,
yeah.
so you got to keep your heart rate elevated. You
Yeah.
got to really sweat. And I just think it's ridiculous. People, if you're at the gym, stay off your phone.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to change your song or whatever, but just pretty much stay off your phone and then just work out because I go to the gym, like primarily so I can work out, get stronger, feel healthier.
Yeah.
It doesn't always work. Then secondary is because no one's gonna bug me.
Yeah.
It's like taking a shit in your bathroom. No, that time,
Yeah.
no one bugs you.
I mean,
So
no one really bugs me ever. So
Yeah,
it's
just
fine.
it's your time to be alone. You're
Yeah.
like, I'm going to the gym. Just why don't you appreciate that time? You're at the gym. If you're taking a shit or at the gym, just appreciate that time.
Yeah.
But even sometimes I'll put it on airplane mode with just Wi-Fi so I can stream music.
I usually try to text Kelly, and she flat out ignores me. Like
What,
doesn't
at
even answer.
At the gym?
Yeah.
Yeah, she should.
Just ignores me.
Don't even worry about her.
Yeah.
Just go there to work out. Forget about everything for
Yeah.
an hour and a half.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. One thing I was reading, and I haven't read enough to follow up on this, but sort of what they espoused was that sort of weight limits where you can do like 12 to 15 reps, sort of strengthen the muscles you have, and ones where you can do like 4 to 6 reps, sort of build new muscle. And when you're doing weights that heavy, you should take like a couple minute rest break in between sets or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah, I mean, if you take a rest, you take a rest. But if you're doing circuits, you're not supposed to do
Yeah. I'll
take a
do that.
rest. Like 15. Like if you're doing heavy weights, you should probably take a rest.
Yeah.
So you're not super sore.
Yeah.
But if you're doing circuits or you're doing like small cardio things or small
I'll
core
do,
things,
I'll do any cardio. Fuck cardio.
no
I do
rest.
a lot of core stuff.
Yeah. And the best thing is like you see fat people at the gym, the resolutioners,
Yeah.
and that's all they do is like core stuff. Like they do ab workouts and everything. It's
Yeah.
like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, I do ab stuff every day,
Yeah.
basically.
No, you can't do ab stuff. You got to do core stuff.
What's core stuff?
Core's from like the middle of your chest to like the middle of your thighs.
Yeah, well, I do like the crunch things, but I do like where you lift your legs up when you're
Yeah.
suspended, and I do like the side to side things, like for your
Right.
obliques
Russian
and stuff.
twist. That's stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to do all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah, I do all that stuff. every day.
Bicycles.
You can
all-
see an outline. Now.
No, not me. I'm just fat.
Yeah. If I stand up, you can see an outline of muscle.
No,
There's
that's
all this fat
that's
in the
fat.
middle.
Oh, I have way more fat than you. This is terrible.
But yeah, that's after like 3 or 4 months of like 4 days a week in a row. I have a slight hint of muscle, but it's annoying sometimes doing the core stuff because I have that I always forget the name of it, which I probably should know since it's like a medical word, but that like ridge in the middle of your stomach.
Right.
So we're just like my abdominal muscles are sort of separated, and it's probably from being fat, like because like happens to pregnant women and stuff. It's not like it's not really a hernia, but that's what it looks like when you're doing like crunches and stuff. It looks like you have this big bulge in the middle. So like I feel like sometimes people look at me and like I just want to be like, no, like I want to learn that. I'm like, no, it's just this thing. Like it's like a normal variant of anatomy, asshole.
No one actually cares when they look at you. No one. Don't worry. No one cares.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It doesn't stress me out. I know that in general, but I feel like every once in a while, because if you ever see anyone that has it, and it's basically just a normal, because my son at 3 has it. Like I think it's just like a normal anatomy variant. Like pregnant women also get it when their bellies are really big.
Right.
So like it happens as a pathology too, but some people just have it all the time, and I'm one of those people. But I don't know.
Yeah. I have to lose like 24 pounds now. I want to lose 24 pounds. See, it used to be 15 pounds.
Yeah.
But
Then you
then
get
yeah. So
I don't know how much I weigh now. I haven't weighed myself in a long time.
I got a scale. It makes me want to cry.
Yeah.
But I think I do. It's not even a New Year's resolution. Like it was just a terrible idea to gain all this weight, extra weight. But having 10 days off, even if you go to the gym, like you just
It's hard.
snack. Yeah, I have no willpower. You know that.
Yeah, I don't have any.
That like my food willpower, great. As a punching bag, I'll take punches all day. Not eating, impossible.
Yeah. So I tried to get a scale for our house. So one of the Amazon Lightning deals before Christmas was a scale, and it was like $10, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I want to buy that. That's like pretty cheap. It looked nice. It was actually a kitchen scale. It was actually like 6 inches across. So,
But you can weigh all your meat.
Yeah,
so you
so
can have like proper protein.
yeah.
So moving on, why are we gonna lose satellites
Yeah,
for space
I
debris?
thought it was a really interesting story. So there's this phenomenon that's gonna likely happen unless we figure out some way to solve it. So essentially, so all the current satellites and the space station and stuff are all like in low Earth orbit. So it's like not a super thick band of like space that they're all in. And the problem is, so, just from normal debris, just like, paint chips from like the space shuttle or like satellites, or I believe it was North Korea tested like a satellite destroying thing. So they like blew up one of their old satellites, which created a whole debris field around it.
Yeah, it's like 4,000 pieces or something.
Yeah. So all this stuff is essentially whipping around low Earth orbit. And the idea is that this problem could potentially snowball where like here's one blown up satellite. Over the course of, decades, those little pieces are going to eventually hit other satellites, blow them up. eventually the entire ring around the planet is just going to be a ring of like deadly debris where essentially we can't launch anything into space, where we're going to lose potentially the ability to launch satellites. We're going to lose the ability to launch space missions.
Yeah.
Like it could get to the point, if we don't figure out a solution for it, that we could just lose satellite technology, because it might take a couple 100 years for this stuff to like fall into orbit and disintegrate to the point where we can put new stuff up.
Well, what's it called? NASA has 2 teams. One team to track satellites and other things, and then one team to track space debris.
There you go.
And like the space debris team is like twice the size.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. But then I read a couple years ago, I think it's Sweden. They're trying to, they either did or they're trying to develop a capsule that gets shot up into space and collect space debris.
That's what I was thinking of. I wonder, something squishy that could like, it could just hit it and then like absorb it.
No, I think it's an actual capsule. You
Yeah.
know, like it looks like a suppository, and it like opens up in the front.
Oh. Yeah, see, my idea is this stuff's flying around so fast. What if you get like a really squishy, absorbent, like capsule shaped thing? So like little space debris hits it and just gets stuck.
Yeah,
And then you just collect it
It's
all
like-
in one thing.
it's like a tube. It looks like a missile, and then
Yeah.
there's a string so you can pull it back.
Yeah. Who's pulling the string? It sounds like Sweden's really trying to IKEA this problem. There's going to be a little guy with Allen wrenches up in space just putting this shit together.
Oh, we got the. Oh, you mentioned North Korea, but 2 things happened to Trump today. Let's see if
Someone's Steve Bannon, right?
the Steve Bannon put out the book with the guy, and then Trump had like I can't find the statement, but he had like this. He had this. He was just a guy. Like he didn't know what he was talking about. We've only had a couple meetings. Like he put out all this stuff.
Yeah.
About Steve Bannon, and it's like that stuff must be true because he got real pissed off.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it basically saying like, oh, he's lost his mind. He's crazy. I don't know. Like if Trump calls you crazy, it's like a real problem. Oh, so speaking of Trump, so I'm like in love with Preston Jacobs of YouTube fame.
No, I'm not done. I'm not done yet.
Okay.
So Donald Trump tweeted today. By the way, KFC made fun of it. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un just stated that the nuclear button is on his desk at all times. Will someone from his depleted and food-starved regime please inform him that I too have a nuclear button, but it is much bigger and more powerful one than his, and my button works.
That's awesome. I actually like that tweet though.
Yeah. So I thought someone photoshopped that.
Yeah.
And they made such a big deal about it. And
Yeah.
then I checked it. That's a real tweet from
Yeah.
the president of the United States of America.
I don't dislike that tweet.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
And then the tweet right after that
Yeah.
is I will be announcing the most dishonest and corrupt media awards of the year on Monday at 5:00.
I did hear about that.
Subjects will cover dishonesty and bad reporting in various categories from the fake news media. Stay tuned.
So even jokingly, I'm pretty concerned about that, but I like the North Korea tweet.
But he's going to town on Twitter like he's a child.
Yeah.
I have to read you the if I can find it, the KFC tweet. Oh yeah, hold on.
I mean, I'm sure someone's gonna write like a long article about how like this is fascism, and it's true. I'm saying it like in a condescending tone, but they're absolutely right. This is fascism. That the president, that now you have the government basically targeting the news media, and and it'll probably be a good article. But
Best tweet of the year already. It's only day 3. So KFC UK and Ireland, they tweeted this. McDonald's leader Ronald just stated that he has a burger on his desk at all times, while someone from his big-shoed, red-nosed regime informed him that I too have a burger on my desk, but mine is a box meal which is bigger and more powerful than his, and mine has gravy. Hashtag nuclear button.
that's awesome.
Yeah. So,
Shit, I forgot what I was gonna say about all that.
how much of a clown are you that a fast food
Yeah.
makes fun? Donald Trump, just don't say shit like that.
Well, it makes me want to eat KFC though. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
it's
like-
all KFC publicity campaign. He's trying to make America great again. I gotta eat KFC.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can't eat KFC for a long time, but one day I will again.
But no. So so Preston Jacobs, so he has this like post-season show now with like the Red Team Review guy talking about Game of Thrones, and he just had a really good rant, which was a good point about he talked about because he bashes Trump every once in a while, and apparently people write in saying like, oh, we're not listening for your political views or whatever, and and all this stuff, and he had just this big long rant about how his father had like some sort of cancer under his tonsils and needed radiation for it, and then had this slow progressive wasting over the course of 20 years from like progressive neurological disease, and how like stem cell research could have potentially helped him, and how like Trump, and he didn't bring up George Bush, but I think that's relevant, that basically the Republican Party is blocking stem cell research. So like for some people these political issues are really like personal issues, much like my hatred of the mummers. That like sometimes when people say things about political issues, like you don't really know where they're coming from. Basically, like they might have some pretty deep seated like personal beliefs behind it. So I thought that was an interesting point.
Other kind of political is the fact that I was watching MSNBC or CNBC at work today. This guy in California, he has medical marijuana, and then because California is going recreational by the end of the year, he has all these greenhouses grown. He has all these baby things. He had reporters in, and like it's like acres upon acres and giant greenhouses. He's starting to grow marijuana, and then like I was talking to a guy at work. We were watching it together, and it's like such a even he admitted to it, like that's such a risk because he's investing millions of dollars, and the federal government can go in there and go,
Yeah.
nope, and they can just destroy it. He'll end up in jail and all this other stuff because he's well past the federal minimum of 0.
Yeah, well, that's and that's the problem with it. I actually was watching when I was making dinner before this. I was watching the John Oliver show episode about marijuana, and that's where he talks about how there's all these state laws, but they kind of don't mean anything because there's still like a federal law that like marijuana is legal. So he talked about how he told the story of this one veteran who has PTSD from the Vietnam War, and how the VA gives him all these drugs that don't really work for him and like make him feel bad, and then he's used marijuana and it like just takes like the bad dreams away and stuff, but doesn't give him like all the side effects of like the antidepressant medications and stuff. And he said he lives in a state where it's legal to have to use like medical marijuana. But he goes to the VA, and the VA is federal institution, so VA doctors can't prescribe medical marijuana or even recommend medical marijuana, because even other doctors in the state can't prescribe medical marijuana. They can only recommend it because you can't write a prescription for marijuana because it's a class 1 drug. So then even though he lives in a state where it's legal, there's essentially no way he can get it because he couldn't drive somewhere to get it because all the surrounding states it's illegal. He couldn't fly somewhere to get it because that's illegal to transport drugs across state lines by air. Like no one can write him for it legally. So even though there's like medical marijuana dispensaries, no one can get medical marijuana from them. Like in his situation, right. So
it's crazy. Overnight they made the government made or the DEA or whatever made CBD oil and CBD extracts a class 1 drug.
Really? What is that?
CBD oil is another cannabinoid. Yeah. It's like the most, other than THC, it's the most prolific one. Where that's the one that helps with the pain and the seizures and the PTSD and all that other stuff. That's the one that helps it. Where the THC is a psychoactive. So you need a little bit of THC. They say you need a little bit of THC for the CBD to actually work when it's extracted from the marijuana itself. So that's why it's like still illegal
Mm.
because you can buy CBD oil online, but it's
Mm.
not from uh, like marijuana.
Yeah. Okay.
Uh, so so the stuff that they have it, but they made it a class one because they say there's no medical use, and it it only has medical use because it does not get you high. It has no other effect on you whatsoever. I mean, it makes you sleepy.
Yeah. I mean, what's crazy is so I'm pretty sure like cocaine is like a class 2 drug,
Yeah.
but like marijuana is a class 1 drug. But
CBD
yeah.
is a class one, and there's
Yeah.
no psychoactive in it at all.
Yeah.
It's been proven to help with so many things: seizures, Crohn's,
Yeah.
seizures, and Crohn's. It can put Crohn's into remission.
Yeah. I mean, some of this, I don't know. It's frustrating because some of these decisions don't make any sense. Like, so like when I started as a nurse practitioner, you could e-prescribe tramadol. And within about the first 6 months or year, it somehow became a scheduled drug. It's literally in the same class as Tylenol. It's a centrally acting like non-opioid like pain reliever. So I honestly don't understand like why, and I remember when I started as a nurse, patients that were prescribed tramadol, they would just have it like in their med drawer. This is like before we had all the big Pyxis machines. They would just have it in their med drawer because it was just like pain reliever.
Right.
And then now it's like you have to like count it in the Pyxis machine and stuff because it's like a regulated drug now. And I honestly don't understand why.
The cough medicine they gave me, there's little clear pills.
Mm.
It's a non-opioid.
Is that benzonatate stuff or whatever? It's like a little yellow pill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like it's super regulated.
Yeah.
But there's it's just cough medicine. It works,
Mm.
but I mean, like
Yeah.
you read about it and it's like don't. It's the same. It's the same things as over the counter,
Mm.
but it's regulated. Unlike so, I could drink 85 bottles of Robitussin,
Yeah.
but like I can't get 20 pills over the counter of this stuff, even though there's it's the same side effects,
Well,
but it's like a little stronger.
So
and,
part of it is the reaction, and I honestly watched the opioid episode of the John Oliver Show also while cooking dinner. Really ironic that these things came up because I didn't steer the conversation in this direction at all, but I just watched these things. And his point was, and it's definitely true from my experience, at least from the part of this I've been involved in, is that if you go back to like the 80s and 90s. Doctors were super afraid to prescribe narcotics because there was this popular thing that like, oh, they would make you, if you took narcotics even for like appropriate usage, you would get addicted to them. And then when like OxyContin came
it
out,
turned out to be true.
well, that's the problem. So it was like probably pretty true. And then when OxyContin came out, they had a big marketing campaign where they said like only 1% of people that take like their pain medicine gets addicted to it. And they actually later got sued for false marketing and paid like $600 million for like false marketing.
They should. I'm pretty sure I talked about this. I accidentally got addicted to it.
Yeah. Well,
When I broke my leg, my doctor he prescribed me 5 milligram Percocets,
Mhm.
and then I went to go back some more because I couldn't get surgery because I thought I had Cushing's disease, where like your limb swells till it explodes, but it didn't. So I finally got my surgery after like a couple weeks, and you get back and the guy's like, "Here's 10 milligram painkillers." Like he didn't even care. Like he just kept prescribing them. I was like, "Oh, thanks." And then so I was taking one of those, and then I go back again. He's like, "You want some more painkillers?" I'm like, "Yeah." Here's 20, but just cut it in half because it'll be cheaper for everyone. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay. So I was used to taking like 2 10s instead of a 20. So I took 2 20s and I like passed out. And then like for probably 6 months after that, like I was give me some more pain medication. So like I got addicted to it, and then like it got to the point where like I was having fever dreams, and I was like searching for the pain medication, and then I like sat up one day. I was like, I'm in physical therapy. I don't even need this pain medication. Like, I'm not in pain.
Yeah.
And it was like the worst 3 days of my life.
Well, that's the thing, and that's what happens is then people either can't get it anymore from any doctors, or it's cheaper, so then they move on to like heroin and shit. Like that's basically how it happens. But essentially, so it was in 20 years ago there was this huge backlash because even patients that like had cancer and like had big surgeries and needed pain medicine couldn't get them. So then there's this big backlash and said, oh well, if you take pain medicine for real acute pain, like you won't get addicted to it. And it became this big thing. And that's what I learned in school was that, you should absolutely, like when you're in the hospital after surgery, you should get narcotic pain medicine because, you're not going to get addicted to it if you use it for pain. And I've told that to patients, and now there's a backlash the other way. We're finding out that will maybe not have been true. And maybe we shouldn't give as many narcotic pain medicines to people. I think it's still hard to argue, like, if you have kidney stone surgery for like 2 or 3 days, you might need Percocet. But like, you don't need it for like 2 or 3 weeks, But I mean, that's what used to happen, because there was this idea that like, oh, well, and there's even, so the one thing the pain management people say is, because you have people rate their scale on a pain of 1 to 10. And one of the sayings is, pain is whatever the patient says it is. So the patient's like doing hopscotch and says, oh, my pain's 10 out of 10. Like they're in 10 out of 10 pain. Like, and that was the thinking for a while because we didn't want to be we didn't want to hurt people's feelings. We don't want to be insensitive to people, in pain, and I think, and again, it was, I think in a way, like in a good-hearted backlash to like a previous time when people who really needed pain medicine couldn't get it. But then we went too far the other way. Now it's like, oh, I have a sore throat, I need Percocet. Like people get narcotics for like whatever. I don't know. But I guess the problem is we really need better alternatives. Like one of the things that the John Oliver show pointed out was the idea that, say you're like in a rural area, you might not have alternatives to narcotics, So like for me, one of the things I'm a big believer in, because we see guys that have like chronic ball pain. And one of the things I'm a big believer in is in pelvic floor physical therapy, because in a lot of guys that we can't find a good anatomic reason for like some sort of groin discomfort, it's really like a muscle problem. And if we send them to, specialized physical therapy, they get better. But the other thing is, if you go to a shitty urologist, they're like, oh, you got the prostatitis, and they give you like 6 weeks of antibiotics that you absolutely don't need. If you're like a shitty primary care doctor, it's like, oh, you're in pain, here's some Percocet, So, but again, I work in a big city for a health system that has like a dozen specialized pelvic floor physical therapy centers. If I worked in the middle of Alabama, I wouldn't have that resource. So then what do? You give people pain medicine.
So, I read about this pain scale, or I watched a TED talk. There's like the pain scale where like they some doctors, they got together and they're like, here's a pain scale where like they're like giving birth is equal to getting hit in the testicles. Like that's the pain on the pain, on the pain scale.
Yeah.
And other doctors are like, no, it's bullshit. And they're like, well, why is it bullshit? We've tested it. And it's like, pain is kind of like subjective.
Yeah.
It really is.
Giving birth is equivalent to a man having a mild chest cold.
No, there's nothing worse than a man with a cold. Man cold is the worst cold ever.
Exactly. And there's people that are legitimately trying to research. And there's a whole bunch of different pain scales and stuff. That, some are more effective than others. I don't know. But, that was just the thinking for a while is like, if people say they're in pain, then you have to treat them like they're in pain. Because, like, who are you to say they're not in pain? Like, that was essentially the thinking, like, when I was in nursing school. Yeah.
There's, like, this theory that when men have colds or they're sick or something like that, and they're, like, real... Because most men are. They're real, like... crybaby and like I need this and everything. The leading theory is that men ignore it because we're dumb for so long that it just goes to the point, like past the point of no return.
Yeah.
Like whereas women would have started complaining, like women or children would have started complaining, like like a week ago. Like
Yeah.
I have a cold. I'll go to the doctors. Oh, antibiotics, and like they're good.
Those
Men
women.
men are like, I'm in terrible pain, but I'm gonna ignore
Yeah.
it till I can't. Like I'm going to end up in the hospital.
Yeah. Well, I would say women and girl children.
Yeah.
That's what happened to Sam. Sam was like fine until I took him to the doctors. And he had fucking ear infection and strep throat and Lyme disease. Like he had the trifecta of things. But yeah. Oh yeah. So we're definitely going to that dinosaur thing this weekend. So what are you doing on Saturday? You can't go.
I'm going out to dinner.
Well, we're going to go during the day.
Maybe we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, we'll probably go early-ish. And there's kids, so, like, I don't know. So this is what I realized.
As a man with no kids, that's not how you talk. Well, there's kids.
Well, no, but I was going to say, it's not going to be there all day. Like, I always think in my head, like, I want to get to this thing early because we're going to be there all day. But then, like, when you go with 2 kids, like, you're there for, like, a couple hours tops.
They do have real life dragons or
So-
real size dragons.
So, like, we're probably going to go out to lunch afterwards. Like, that's how long we're probably going to be there. So...
Did you look into it whatsoever? Did you?
I really didn't. So multiple people have sent me this link, because I guess Sam's love of dinosaurs is well known. So, yeah, Sean's mom sent it to me, and then Brittany sent it to me too.
Dinosaur Time Track.
Mm. Yeah, I think in Philadelphia it's like the Dragon edition, right? So that's cool.
It starts at 9.
Okay, yeah. So you could definitely go. I think it's like $19.
Children ages 2 to 12.
It's still $19.
Hold on a second. Child ages 2 to 12. Children under 2 free with paid adult. Sam's 2.
Yeah, I don't know why they list it. I think they say children 2 to 12, $19. Adults, $19. So everyone basically 2 to 65 is $19.
Did you read it at all?
No, I haven't even looked at it. I already know we're going. I'll have to look at it.
When you buy a ticket, you choose an entry time. You may enter any time within your 30-minute time window. Once you're inside, stay as long as you'd like.
Okay. So I probably should buy tickets soonish then, because maybe there's
yeah.
limited times.
Yeah.
Because I'm really like broke, so I was debating if I would wait till Friday to buy them, but I can just jiggle some money around the accounts.
Yeah.
And get 'em.
Spread it out on a couple cards.
Yeah.
Oh.
I actually just have one, and this is probably I don't know if this is worse than credit cards. I have like a line of credit with the bank, so it's all just in one place at least, and it's like lower interest rates, but it's still really easy to take money out of.
What's your interest rate?
I actually don't know what it is now because it's I don't remember. I took it out so long ago, but I remember when I took it out it was much lower than like it's not like 20% or anything crazy like with a credit card. Yeah.
Yeah, every dollar you spend on a credit card's $1.25.
Yeah. Yeah, at least. But yeah, but it's like really easy to be like, I'll just transfer a little money out into my like checking account.
Then you never pay it back.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. Yeah, I think I'm paying like. Yeah, I mean, I pay so. Between my student, I'm trying to figure it all out. So between my student, so just looking at like just purely loans. So like my student loans, the one loan I took out to buy the house off of Laura, and the one and like my line of credit, I pay like $1,000 a month in essentially loan repayments, which is like probably like more than half interest. Only because the biggest one is like not much interest, but the other ones are. I mean that's not even counting. I mean I probably pay what? So since I just refinanced my mortgage, it probably 90% of that is interest still at this point, since it's like essentially a new mortgage.
Right.
So I probably pay $2,000 a month in interest payments essentially. I don't know. It's fucked up.
What's it called? The girl. Oh my God. I'm gonna die. The girl I'm seeing.
Mm.
she's like, we're talking about dreams.
Did you call her like your girlfriend at this point?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, because then it was the gray area for a little while.
Yeah.
Not like on your part, but on her part.
So anyway,
Yeah.
she I was talking to her about my like dreams,
Mm.
and she's like, "What are some of your dreams?" And I was like, "I don't know, have a kid, own a house."
Putting this
private
D
car."
in you, you'd say.
No. And then she's like,
Yeah.
nothing. I was like, oh, own a restaurant. Not own a restaurant, own a business or
Yeah.
something like that. And she's like, most of those aren't dreams. And I was like, yeah, they are. And she's like, no, those are just attainable things people do. And I was like, oh, when you grow up like poor,
Mm.
those are dreams.
Yeah.
Like most people don't get those things.
Oh yeah, it sucks. Like when you, I mean, and like I make a lot of money. I just have all at these debts I just listed. So I don't know, like I really want to get engaged at this point, and then at that point, 20% of Whole Wheat Costa listeners and 50% of Whole Wheat Costa hosts will have gotten engaged since the start of Whole Wheat Costa.
Don't worry, I'm never getting engaged again. So,
But so like I really want to do that, but like I need money for a ring and shit. Like I don't know, it's annoying.
I'm gonna go from boyfriend straight to deadbeat dad.
Yeah, that's the life.
Yeah.
Dude, they really do have the fucking life though, man.
What, deadbeat dad?
Yeah. That's what and that's what Kelly always jokes with, like all the stress of dealing, especially like when I first got divorced and stuff. All the stress of dealing with like the custody stuff. That was like Kelly's thing, that like if we ever broke up, she was like straight dating like a deadbeat dad. Like no child support payments to worry about, no
Yeah.
custody stuff to worry about. I don't know.
Yeah, deadbeat dad, that's the way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not dealing with this divorce shit again.
Yeah.
And then they, 3 years later, they ask you for money still
Yeah.
for no reason whatsoever.
But I don't know how much you want to get into that on the air or not.
Huh?
I don't know how much you want to get into that on the air, because I mean I'm at comments from before, I certainly could say, but yeah, I don't know. It was funny. And I don't know if I told you this story, but I certainly haven't told it on the podcast. But it's funny that there's the whole train of thought. I thought about the fact that so Allie was asleep over her dad's house the other night, and it was a night that we were going out to Roxbury to get Sam. So Kelly came out with me. We got Sam, hung out at the mall and stuff, and then we got a call from.
Sam's going to think hanging out at the mall is like normal when he gets older.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we've spent so much time at the mall.
Yeah, he's like, guys, you want to just go spend 3-4 hours at the mall?
Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of cool because I feel like I went all the time with my grandparents as a kid. So like I really like the mall's like a comfortable place for me now. Like,
Does he
so
know?
It'll be the same probably.
Does he know like the security guards or anybody at like the Hot Topic or anything?
When we used to go every week, some people at the mall knew him. We don't go like every week anymore. So
That's good.
yeah. But no, there was like the one. So yeah, there was one girl in the game store that like tried to get Sam to wave to her for like months, and finally started talking to her. There was a dude at the Subway would always give him like a cookie every week. So there was like the girl with they have like one of the ride things there that like knew him. So
Wait a second.
yeah,
He's getting free cookies and girls are talking to him?
yeah.
That sounds like a great trip.
So, but yeah, we go. I mean, probably like once a month we really go now, because now I only drive out there. We sort of jiggle around the schedule, so he comes down to me more. So I go out there less, and we don't always go to the mall like we used to when I do go out there. But
Well, it's like freezing cold out now, so going to the mall is probably preferable than going out to anything else. I mean, I guess when he gets older, you guys can like hit up a bowling alley or.
That's the
something
thing.
like that.
Yeah, there just wasn't much we could do when he was younger. I mean, like now, I mean, even if it's still just shopping, it's easier to run in and out of other stores. You just throw him in his car seat, strap him in, you go. If you're like going from store to store outside,
Right.
versus like before, it was a big production to like have a coach and like a bag and all this shit. Like, I mean, I could literally just keep a couple diapers in my pocket. Like, I don't really need to carry anything for him anymore.
Right.
He eats regular food, I don't know. He walks around. I don't know. So.
Yeah, you don't have to carry anything because, it's 18 degrees out. And like an asshole, he came over in just a white T-shirt.
Well, I'm going to go to the gym afterwards. I'm going to be real hot.
Yeah.
So, but shit, where was I going with this story? Oh yeah, so we're out at the mall, and then Allie didn't want to sleep at her dad's house, so Brittany went and picked her up, And I just think it's funny because Sam's like saying original things now. Like, I mean, he was a late talker to begin with, and the most of the stuff that I guess, little kids say is just like pointing things out, like pointing out things that are like in front of them is like how they start talking. But now he has like his own thoughts. So he wanted to call Allie. So we like FaceTimed her and got on the phone, and Brittany was in the background. And the first thing Sam says is, "Brittany, why did you take Allie home?" I guess like he thought that's why she wasn't there, and he was like pissed about it. So, but
that's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's like crazy. If you watch like any Planet Earth or documentaries, it's crazy how useless human babies are.
Yeah,
for
basically.
like so long.
Yeah,
like
a long time.
A foal or a calf, they're like up and running and feeding like 2 days later.
Yeah,
and like baby humans, like 3 years later, you're like, okay, I think I could take a piss, and he won't die.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's like just I don't know. I mean, it was an evolutionary thing, like the fact, like the ability to like be able to take care of a baby for a long time. Was like, I don't know, maybe conferred some evolutionary advantage versus like a baby that was up and running. Maybe those parents who couldn't take care of a baby, their lines died out, I guess. I don't know. But maybe it was like a status thing to say, oh, I can like do this. I don't know. But
yeah, but just like I want to be a father, but I don't want to deal with all those baby years. And then
it's
like,
really just a year.
Yeah.
It's really just the first year is real boring. Like, I mean, it's not boring. I mean, because you're excited because like it's your kid and stuff. But I mean, especially as a dad, like it's not like you carry the kid around for 9 months, so like, you don't feel like an instant bond, like right when they're born. Like you're like, oh, that's kind of cool, but like it's not an instant bond, And especially, I think this is where a lot of like where parents are separated, where like dads like fall into the trap because like. Or like, don't do what they're supposed to do because, I mean, for me, I mean, like those early days with Sam, like where he didn't do anything and like was just like a potato and like I was miserable in life and like, had to like go over to my old house and stuff. I mean, like those weren't fun days, like hanging out with my kid, but like I did them because like you're supposed to do them. Right. And then like even when we started going to the mall and stuff, like it was better, but it's like, what do you do with a 6-month-old like at the mall? Like you push them around in a coach. But like, again, like I did it because like you're supposed to do it and like you want to be a good dad. And then like after like eventually then it was like, oh, we spent all this time together. Like this kid's pretty cool. And then you like love them and stuff.
Right. Right.
But like you don't just get that instantly. I think what happens is like, if I were like a shitty person, I mean, I guess, you could argue if I am or not. But if I were a shittier person, like in the same situation where like I was just like, oh, I don't want to do that. I'm not going to like spend the time. Like we never would have developed that bond, And then you're like Allie with her dad, where like she's not even totally comfortable going over his house, like
right. And then that first year, if you don't do that bond, like you're like, I'll see him when I want to see him.
Yeah.
Then like the mom's like, well, he doesn't want to be around him.
Yeah, well, that's true too. But yeah, I didn't even think about that, but just from like the developing the bond thing, I mean, you have to put work in. Again, I think as a mom, and I don't think this is true for everybody. Like Kelly hates kids, so I think it's true for like all women. But like, I think for most moms, they like have it right away because they've had this 9 months together before the kid's even born. As a guy, like you don't really have that.
Right.
So there's this thing pops out that like doesn't do anything and just shits all the time. Like it's not fun. It's not interesting. I don't know.
Yeah. It can't take care of itself whatsoever.
Yeah.
It won't work. Doesn't earn you money.
So, but I mean, I would say within the first year, like even as a guy, is like pretty cool. But like the beginning is like not great. I don't know. Like, but then I guess that's where like if you're in a relationship it works out because like Kelly really likes the small babies. So like if we had a kid, we're good because she can take care of the small baby. Once it starts doing shit, that's when it stresses her out.
Right. Yeah. It's not potatoing anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's talking. Now it's talking back.
Yeah, fuck this kid. Yeah. It's walking away. I'm just trying to wipe its ass. It's like, no, I don't want you to wipe my ass. I'm 17, know. It's terrible.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. See, Sam's going through a thing right now curious for your opinion on this. Where it's real weird, you know, because he was always really excited to come over to my house, and like sometimes he would like cry going back to Laura's house, and sometimes still, and he does get still sad going leaving my house, but like for the last like 3 or 4 weeks, he's like cried when she drops him off, like when he's still in the car. Like he doesn't cry, like he's happy when I pick him up. He's happy like, you know, either to go to the mall or to bring him back to my house like on Fridays. But the one day a week she drops him off at my house, he like cries when he gets there, and it's like weird. I mean, I know he's been sick. He's had like the Lyme disease and stuff, so he's been taking antibiotics for 20 days. Like he's definitely not been himself in general. So the first 2 weeks it happened, like I wasn't that surprised at it, but I felt like, you know, hanging out last week, he was like pretty much back to himself, but then he still did it this Tuesday, and I don't really know. And like I just attribute it to like kids are weird.
Yeah,
but
just attributed to kids are weird.
Yeah, like because then what happens is he comes in the house, you know, I hold him for a minute, and then Kelly tells him he's a boy. Boys don't cry, you know. She tells him to show her his muscles, and then he like flexes, and then he's like, and then yesterday I took a video of him actually. Yesterday he said he said something like, I don't cry, I got big muscles.
Yeah.
So I mean he's fine within like a minute, but it's just
right.
like I don't know, it's just a weird thing he's been doing.
It's sort of like I'd put it in this area. It's sort of like when you go out, like you make plans and you regret it, like I don't want to go out, I don't want to go out, I don't want to go out. But as soon as you show up there, you're fine.
Yeah.
Because like when I would visit my dad or whatever, like that Thursday, I'd be like, oh man, you know what I mean? Like the weekend, I'm gonna miss out on my friends. I'm not gonna be able to watch the TV shows I want to watch. It's gonna be terrible. But like after like 10 minutes, I was fine. So it might be that. Like I think it's probably because he's growing in independence.
Yeah.
And he wants to do his thing, and like he's used to his mom. Like I can't speak for his mom whatsoever, but his mom's probably not a busybody.
Yeah.
You guys are busy. He's used to that relaxation and not doing anything, and probably going and visit her friends or sitting around and watching TV and being babied and everything. But as soon as he comes over, you guys are doing stuff. Like 9 a.m., you're doing something.
Yeah, and also Kelly very much doesn't baby him. So
right. Yeah. So it's a transition from different things. Like he spends probably the majority of his life with his mom, and then he comes to you guys, and it's a totally different lifestyle.
Yeah. I was he was going to grow out of it. You know, we so I asked him about it a couple weeks ago. Basically, it was like, oh, Sam, why were you crying? He was like, basically, it was like, because I was. And then I was like, well, why were you sad? And he was like, because I was sad. And then I was like, well, are you going to cry next week? And he goes, yes. And then I was like, well, and then he thought about it for a minute. And he was like, and then he said something like, no, I don't have to cry. But then he did again this week. Right. So then like I asked him, I was like, well, Sam, why did you cry again? And he was like, and he basically said that he didn't cry. He was like, I was like, no, I saw you cried. He was like, I don't cry.
I mean, I think he'll probably grow out of the crying.
Yeah.
But he won't for a long time grow out of that emotional change. I think that'll just get worse.
Yeah.
Because you guys are going to be opposite. Like if you guys are going to have different opposite lives, like it is stressful on kids.
Yeah. Well, and that's part of what Kelly said to him, because again, we assumed, he hasn't been here, and you could tell he hasn't been like himself for like a few weeks. And she said to him last week, basically like, well, Sam, when you come here, like, you don't have to run around. Like, you can just sit on the couch. Like, we can just watch TV. Like, it's fine. But I don't know how much I mean, he understands some things. I don't know how much he really understands of like that whole concept, but, maybe if he's a little bit older, he would be like, oh, that's fine. But I don't know.
Right. I mean, it's just it's gonna take a while. And it's gonna be every time she drops him off, that transition's gonna be real hard for him.
Yeah.
And then you got to think about the mindset. Like, you're picking him up. He knows he's going back home.
Yeah.
He gets dropped off. He knows he's not going back home. So it's
well, no, but I mean, like when I pick him up on Fridays, like when he's gonna be with us at the weekend and stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah, I feel like sometimes he is weird. Like, guess even on Fridays, sometimes like when we pick him up, like he's just quiet in the car for like maybe 15 minutes. Like he never cries, and and I would say more often than not he's excited, but then sometimes he's just like quiet, and then like once he like gets out of it, then he's like real loud, and then he's like loud all weekend. But it's like it's like a little transition period.
Yeah, it'll be fine soon. So, all right, that's it for this year's first whole week Costa. Good night. If I could stop this.